Hey, we are on the air. All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of Dad, Dave, and the Elephant. This is a something that's been long overdue. We had a little bit of a break over the holidays, so guys, why don't you say hello and say what's going on?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tim the Dad. Been playing a lot of
Hey
games. We'll get to that in a
everyone,
minute.
Norris here, aka Gray Elephant. I think I must have cut you off. You're breaking in and out. This is Tim Norris, aka Gray Elephant. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Well,
do
you
you
were
hear
kind of
me?
choppy there for a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously, we got a little technical stuff and everything like that. Anyways, well, let's start. So we'll start with Tim the elephant. What's going on with you? Because you were the one who started talking there at the end. So fill us in what you've been up to and how your holidays were and everything else.
Talking to me?
Yes, sir. You.
Oh, glad to get him away. I'm really on. Played games here and there, and that's pretty much it. So, how about you guys?
How about you, Tim the dad?
I couldn't hear a single thing that Tim Norris said. He was all choppy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So, all right. Well, anyways, while he gets his stuff squared away, how about you, Tim the dad? What you been up to? How was your
Well,
holidays and everything?
holidays were good. The biggest thing, if you've been following us on Facebook, is daughter is back on the channel. She has returned from Disney, so we have steadily been able to get some games played, get them out on the channel. So talk about some of the games that we have been playing. First off, and this will be our next show, I want to show Dragon Castle from Horrible Games. Now, this is a Mahjong style of game. Um, I've only played Mahjong on the iPad, and I've heard that that's not really playing Mahjong. But this is a super cool game. We've done an unboxing on it if you want to see the components. We did a Facebook Live video showing daughter's first reaction to it. So this is a very cool game. Like I said, we're planning on getting this on the channel for this week's show. So if you're interested in that, you're going to want to make sure you check that out. And another game that I've been playing with my gaming group is the new print of Amun-Re from Tasty Minstrel Games. Now, this is an older game that was originally published by Rio Grande, and it came out, I think, in 2003. So it's an older game, but it's been upgraded. It's got a new, bigger board, upgraded components, everything. Super sharp. Really have been enjoying this game. This kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting much from it, and I thought, wow, man, this is a really cool game. So I'm going to try to get this on as a game of the week, probably sometime within the next month. You still need to get a few more plays of it, but this was an instant hit with everybody I was playing with. The other games we've been playing, of course, we've been playing Manhattan and Majesty for the Realm from Z-Man Games. I've been playing that. So, in fact, I just unleashed that on my lunch group today. So everybody seemed to enjoy it. Played very quick, got a couple of games in. And then right before we went on air, I did get a nice little care package from the good folks at Eagle Griffin Games. They sent 3 games in that we'll be doing unboxings on very shortly. First is Rival Realms. It's a 2-player card game. Takes about 25, 30 minutes. Don't know much about it, but I did look at it. Looks fairly interesting, so looking forward to checking that out. The other thing that I got, which Dave has already done an excellent job on, is the 10th anniversary edition of Railways of the World. Dave, and I'll let you talk about your video here in a minute, but this was one of those games my good friend Chris had introduced to our weekly group, and this one was an immediate success. In fact, I think we ended up playing this for like a month of Wednesdays solid. It's an awesome game. can't wait to open it up and play it. We'll be doing our own unboxing on this very soon. Oh, the thing weighs a ton. And then finally, we also, along with that, got the Railways of Nippon expansion for it. So it's got a lot smaller looking map on there, but also looking forward to checking this out. So, Tim Norris, hopefully you're back and have a good video. What have you been playing?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, we've been playing Majesty for the Realm. And it was fun because last weekend we actually had a game day, and we played a few of the older ones too, including the one we're talking about, Manhattan, which was interesting. But we also played Small World. We played Majesty for the Realm. We played the Century Golem, which even Century Golem, it's still a Century Spice Road. I don't care how you want to label it. It's still boring. And then we played, let's see, what else? Seven Wonders, which, man, that's always a great game. What else did we play? Oh, it was some weird game by Renegade Game Studios. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was an abstract game where you have these tiles and trying to build your little like huts and move through the water and the land. It was fun, one-time experience, and that'd probably be all I got to say about that. And then I know I've played some other ones, but for some reason it's just not coming to me. But anyways, how about you, Dave?
Okay, so interesting thing, we've been talking about some older games. Of course, I was also playing Majesty for the Realm. This one's been a lot of fun. I've gotten a number of plays of that. We also have been playing Seven Wonders, and recently decided to add in the Leaders expansion. Every time that we played Seven Wonders, always played just the base game, but now we decided to use the Leaders with it, and that is fantastic. I mean, talk about an expansion that just feels like it belongs. Man, it adds a nice extra layer to the game, gives you an extra strategy. The Leaders give you different things where you can, opportunities to come up with strategies and how to best use those leader abilities. So that's been a lot of fun. And then Ticket to Ride. We have been playing that quite a bit. We got the new map here, France and the Old West. So I've gotten 4 plays of that in so far. So I played the Old West once with 6 players because it will play up to 6. Absolutely fantastic. And then we've been playing the France map. And that one, I know that you guys mostly will end up playing games 2-player. Sadly, France is a bit mediocre, only at 2 players. But man, you get to 4 or 5 players. It's a really, really fantastic game. The France map, when the big change is that when you go to take your train cards into your hand, you actually have to paint one of the routes on, like one of the connections on the board, so you can determine the colors for the different routes as to what they're going to be claimed. So you can either pave the way for yourself, or maybe throw something out there to throw off your opponents for a bluffing or whatever. So there's a little bit of extra layer of complexity that's added in there, but super, super cool. So I've played a bunch of other games, but those are the ones that I've primarily been playing the most of. So that's pretty much been about it. How about you guys with any types of stuff you guys been posting up? And I know Tim right now, Tim Norris, you're kind of on a hiatus from your normal Gray Elephant Gaming stuff, and hopefully we'll see some stuff in the future. But do you have anything that you want to talk about? Any stuff you might be doing on your own, or or what you have in mind?
No, nothing right now. I'm just going to take a break and probably take a few months off, see what I want to do, and if I even want to continue doing it even. I've been pretty burnt out on the gaming industry as a whole. I mean, the game we're going to talk about tonight's been kind of refreshing, but I'll get into that when we get to that point. But yeah, it doesn't really excite me like it used to, so I'm going to have to try to take some time off and see if I can get reinvigorated and maybe enter back in later. But for now, yeah, we're just going to take a break.
All right.
That's because you haven't been gaming with us, Tim.
I know, right?
So, how about you, Tim the Dad? Channel stuff. And obviously, you made the news that daughter is back. So, what do
Yeah,
you guys?
we like I said, we're going to be Dragon Castle will be our next show. Not sure what we're following that up with, but we're just kind of wading through a stack of games. They kind of piled up while she was gone, so I'm kind of letting her kind of go through and see what interests her, and that's kind of how we're setting our schedule instead of having anything really set in stone as far as what we're going to do. But it's been nice having her back, not just for gaming, but having my daughter back. She was gone for 7 months, so I really missed it having her in the house. But she's going to be finishing up her school here in the spring, and then actually going off to finish her last 2 years in college. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But no, the gaming has been going pretty good. Been trying to keep busy with my normal gaming group. In fact, we started playing more online since the weather is not necessarily conducive for all of us getting together. We've been playing some Dominion online. Some of us have been playing on Board Game Arena. But and here's a note for all of you out there that fancy yourselves as Stone Age experts. You do not want to play Tim Norris in Stone Age online. He will clean the block. I made that mistake. I played against him. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, and I think he scored more than 100 points more than what I had. So
it was bad.
Wow. So, Tim, so what is your on Board Game Arena? What is your handle or whatever? Because looks like King Player 14, which is Chris King, says he uses Board Game Arena. How can he find you?
Yeah, I think I'm the Brez man on there.
Okay. And then what's Gray Elephant is you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to try to set up a 4-player match sometime. I'd like to clean all your clocks in it.
So, well, that's cool. Well, speaking of kids coming back, my son Devin is serving in the United States Navy and just returned to the United States yesterday from a 6-month deployment to Rota, Spain. So he is back in Gulfport, Mississippi right now. So that's cool. He is going to be coming home on leave later this month. So I actually have to drive down to Indianapolis to pick him up from at the airport there, because otherwise he'd have an extra layover and he'd be sitting there just waiting in Indy. I'm like, oh, I'll just drive down there and pick you up there. No sense in sitting there by yourself. You can sit in the car on the way back home. So that's kind of cool.
Hey, you should send Tim over there to pick him up.
I should. Or I'll just tell Tim to stop by and we'll have lunch or something like that, because it'll be right around that time too. But anyways, channel news for me, I guess it's kind of a big deal. I was on a video producing hiatus for a long time. The only video stuff that I was doing was the live stuff here with Dad, Dave, and the Elephant, but I had taken a break from producing video from, I think the last one that I had done was September 2016. I think I might have put up some Origin stuff from this past year, 2017, but actual content, I didn't really. I took some time off. I was still doing some written stuff, but I actually have produced 2 videos now in the past week. I did a comparison video with the new Railways of the World 10th anniversary that Tim Bresnan was talking about. I do an in-depth comparison between the version that was already out before, show off some of the differences in there. So pretty comprehensive. If you are a Railways of the World fan, you might want to check that out. And then I just posted up a review for the Yokohama Port insert from Meeple Realty that's compatible with Yokohama Deluxe. So showed that off. I posted that up yesterday. So I was telling Tim Norris, I'm joking. I'm like, hey, right now work has been kind of slow, so I have time to do it. I'm like, hey, I'm producing content. I might be like the rest of these idiots and just quit my job and just decide to make content full time, So and my wife's like, no. So but anyways, so I do have some upcoming stuff. I'm actually going to be filming my review, my formal review for Manhattan tomorrow, and going to be working on Get Off My Land. and I happened to get a copy of Role Player today from Thunderworks Games. So I'm going to be looking at doing that and be working on a show talking about dice games. And then finally, one other thing, a couple things we've got in the works. Me and Chris King, we're planning on doing a complete video series on all the Ticket to Ride maps. So that should be kind of fun. And doing a couple things for these are a few of my favorite games, and I'm going to be taking a look at some of the games in my collection, taking a fresh look at them because some of them are a little bit older. So that's basically what's going on. So kind of a lot, I guess, I have in the works.
Yeah, and your video, anyone who is interested in seeing what the differences are in the new versions of Ticket to Ride compared to the old one, definitely check out Dave's video. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his friend. It was an excellent video, so highly recommend you watching that.
Yeah, and there was a couple things that I missed, but I'll actually go back and cover those when I actually do a review talking about the Eastern USA map. There was a couple of changes that I forgot. It was nothing that was I didn't miss anything major in that video. I think I covered everything else. But anyways, I see that we see Tim Norris has been kind of bouncing in and out. He's been having some internet stuff going on. But so that's pretty much what's been going on. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a shorter episode tonight because we got stuff that's going on. But do want to get into our group review. And so tonight we're going to be talking about this game right here that's going to be coming out. This is from FoxMind Games, and this is the game Manhattan. Now, a lot of you may have seen an older version that looked like this. And now, this is an older game from designer Andreas Seyfarth, who he's got a pretty solid pedigree. He has the designer of Puerto Rico and also San Juan, and then also he's the designer of Thurn in Texas, which is another game that won the Spiel des Jahres. So he's got quite a bit going on. And this game with Manhattan, originally 1994, this game came out. So here we are several years later, the big city's returning. So let's see, who wants to talk about the overview, how the game's played? Which one of you guys take a shot? How about you, Tim Norris? You just played it.
I don't know. Can you guys actually hear me?
Yeah, but you know, you're kind of chopping back and forth. If you don't mind, I'll talk about how it's played. Or Tim Breslin, you want to do it?
I'll let you go ahead and do it, Dave.
All right. So I don't mean to be the conversation hog here, but anyways, so Manhattan is an abstract city building game. There's going to be a board that's out. There's plenty of videos that are already out there that show how the game is played. But essentially, there are, I believe, 6 different city locations that are on the board, and players are going to have a hand of cards. And when you play them out, it's going to show you one of the little blocks that are in the city that you could play on. And if you look at Tim's Breslin, say something so they can see the board.
Can you see, everybody see this? You can see the 6 islands or whatever you want to call them, and they're a 3x3 grid.
Yeah. So when players will have a hand of cards, and when they play a card out, it's going to show one of the 9 locations as to where you can put a city block, and it's going to base upon the perspective that you're looking at. And you will be able to place one of your blocks on there. You can choose any of the 6 things, and essentially what's going to happen is you are vying for control of each of these cities by placing these blocks on there. You can place on top of your opponents, and there is a minor rule that says whoever is going to be on top has to have more stories in their building than anybody below them. So so you're going to go about doing that, and you can also earn points at the end of each round for having the tallest city. But I think the most interesting aspect of the game is that at the beginning of the round, you are going to essentially choose from your pool of city tiles which ones you're going to use, and they vary in range from 1 to 4 stories. And so you're kind of tipping your hat, but you also have to plan how you're going to counter with your opponents all in one time. So, but essentially at the end of a round, you're going to score, and it's going to go on. I believe it's 4 rounds, and the game is over. Whoever has the most points wins. Not a very complex game at all.
Well, it depends on player count. So in a 4-player game, you're going to have 4 rounds, and you're going to choose 6 buildings for each round. In a
Right.
3-player game, you're going to have 6 rounds, and you're only going to choose 4 buildings at a time. It's a little different. And the blocks interlock. So I don't know if you can see this real well, but they kind of go together like Legos. There's a different sizes there. And you're also going to get points during each round for whoever has the largest building. I'm notorious for being known for having the largest building.
So we lost Tim again. So, but anyways, we'll just start our discussion and let Tim jump back in. Hopefully he'll be able to make it back. But your initial impressions with the game, Tim.
The game is so simple to play. I mean, like I said, you've got these cards, and you're going to have a hand of 4 cards. So you've got a few options. And like David said, the card is going to be dependent on where you are on the table. So when I'm looking at this card, to me, it's in the top right, and it's going to be in the top right for everybody. But the top right on the board for each of those spaces is going to be different. So I'm looking at the options that I have. I'm looking at where everybody else has played. I'm looking at the size of the buildings they have left to put on the board, and that helps determine what I want to do on my turn. So, like I said, the game is very simple. It plays fairly fast. The people that I've played it with have not been AP prone. When it's come around to their time, they're pretty much ready to go. But kind of like in 5 Tribes, the board state's going to change, so you can't really think too far ahead. You know, based on the cards, what your options are, and you kind of play things off of that. The game doesn't play as fast as I had originally thought it would. The few times that I've played it, the games have been around with Teach a little over an hour. And both times first time was with 3 players. The last few times have been with 4. But the game does seem like it goes fast. It doesn't seem like you're just sitting there waiting. So I like that aspect. The components are really cool. There's different colors. There's purple, blue, orange, and kind of a I'd almost call this a pea yellow. Wish you had green. Dad needs green. Get rid of this and have green. That's what I want. But maybe that'll be in an expansion. We'll have the green
you can play 6. I think if I look here, Tim, I might have to let you borrow these. These are more like aqua, but here, it's kind of green. That's from the old edition. Maybe.
Yeah, we need a true green. So if FoxMind is watching this, green, need to have that. But no. So I've kind of talked about my initial impression. I'll reserve my my final impression until you guys have had a chance to talk about your bit. So, Tim Norris, what do you think?
Can you guys actually hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I would say if we're talking initial impressions, I think the initial impressions are that you go into this game thinking it's going to be very simple because it's only a couple of pages of rule book. And you get through those pages really fast. So you're in a really simple game based on that. But once you actually start playing, it really becomes a bit more meaty than what you expected. I mean, are you going to try to stack on your opponents? Are you going to try to spread out on the across all the sections or the districts of the board? There's a lot of decisions that really play into the game. Now, the other thing I did find interesting was that because each player sits on each side of the board, and the cards basically, you might have the exact same card as somebody else, but that means different to the other player. And what I find fun about that is that it disallows players to count cards, which is something that I just notoriously end up doing in a lot of these games, is I start seeing, okay, well.
We lost him.
I think we lost him. Well, we'll wait for him to come back.
All right, Dave, go ahead and tell us your thoughts on it.
Oh, I think he's back now. Here you go, Tim. All right.
Sorry, I just missed her in and out. I have a tendency at times to count cards, and this doesn't allow you to do that because just because you have a card that is similar to somebody across the table, it means something, and that's something I really do enjoy about it as well. So that's kind of my initial impression of your game than what you might expect, but yet it still does have a simple, sleek style about it. How about you, Dave?
So I've had some experience with this game. You saw that I owned an older copy, but the initial impression when I played the game was, I read the rules and I'm like, man, this is really, really simple. And like you said, it's deceptively simple because you're basically playing a card and placing your blocks out. But again, like you said, Tim Elephant, you have decisions. Are you going to stack on top of other players? Are you going to branch out and try to score your points by having lots of different buildings all over? Are you trying to try to take control of a number of city blocks? Are you going to be the one going for the tall building? Those are the options that you have to weigh. And the point spread, I mean, if you have the tallest building, it's only 3 points. And you're going to get 2 points for each city area that you control. So it's like, are you going to waste your time? You have the potential to score more points by spreading out. I mean, even if you control 2 city areas, that's 4 points opposed to 3 if you put all of your energy into one, like going for the tallest building. But you still have your options to go that way. And I love the fact with the cards, with the perspective of looking at the board. How I'm looking at the card from where I'm sitting on the table is going to be different from where the players to my left, right, and across from me are going to be looking at it. And so I think that's I'm very impressed with this. I mean, the game for being a 1994 design, and here we are 24 years later, and it still seems fresh and it holds its own. Still, I think that that was my first impressions. Like, man, this game feels like it came out now. So that's what my initial impressions. Thoughts about production quality, anything like that? Do you guys have any issues with any of this stuff?
No, I think the production quality on
Green.
This is not having green. That's really my only problem with it. The cubes, like I said, they all stack, really nice. Don't have any problem there. I like the look of the translucent pieces. I think that looks really neat. The one complaint that one of our players had was that sometimes it's difficult to tell exactly how many stories this one is compared to maybe some of the other ones, especially in a stack. He wishes that maybe there was more of a distinguishing feature for the stories that are on each individual piece, but I think that was kind of a minor thing. But overall, I think component quality and production quality of this is very good. Tim?
Yeah. Unique point is being able to tell how levels are in your building stack, and what they needed to do was to put a line that goes on the outside across to show the separation of the stacks. And I think that because we ran into that issue quite a bit ourselves outside of that.
Yep. All right, Tim, I think you froze up there. I know for me, just to do a quick comparison with the older edition.
Yeah, Dave, where's your video on that?
I haven't done one yet. I will, but if you look at here, this is the comparison now. We've got so we have the square box with the one from FoxMind opposed to this rectangle here. And the new edition actually takes up a smaller footprint. Now, I did do a comparison off camera. I should probably do one. But the actual playing area with the city area, like the city outlines and where the blocks go, is exactly the same between the two boards. What they did with the FoxMind one is they have the score track running around the outside of the board, whereas the older one, it had a scoreboard all over on one side. So we shrunk the board down, they shrunk the box down, so it's actually going to fit better on a shelf. But production quality, I'm with you. I like the translucent buildings also. The being able to tell the difference and the number of stories is not something that's exclusive to FoxMind version. The older version's the same thing as well. You just have to look really, really closely and try and count the window layers, I guess, is the best way to put it as that. So, but I don't really have any complaints about the there's no production quality complaints whatsoever. I like the box. I like the bright colors. It looks really cool. I wish it looked a little bit more like Manhattan, but I guess they decided to go with bright lights, big city, I guess.
I think they tried to give it a little bit of a world view, because when you look at some of the cards, I don't know that they necessarily would fall in line with Manhattan, because I thought I saw one with somebody at like a beach. You've got like on this one, you've kind of got like an African thing going on. I don't know, just a little difference, but not anything major.
Yeah. Well, in my copy of Manhattan, and this is a Hans im Glück one, a German version. There's Frankfurt, Germany. There's Tokyo in here. There's Cairo, Egypt. Sydney, Australia. So the cities even though this says Manhattan, it actually has cities represented from all over the world. So maybe they just decided to go with that artistic approach on this one. So anyways, I don't know if we're going to be getting Tim Norris back. I know that he was looking to cut out at around a half an hour anyways, and he's been having internet connections. So sorry that you guys don't get a chance to hear from him anymore, but we guess we could start to share our final thoughts about the game. So Tim, what is your official Tim the Dad official take on Manhattan?
Well, this is one that it comes, and in the rule book it says there's a 2-player variant, and the way that works is you each play 2 different colors. I've not tried that yet, and to be honest, that doesn't sound very exciting to me. So I don't think I'm even going to want to play it that way. 3 and 4 player meaning I think is the best way to play this. I enjoy it with 3 players. Don't get me wrong. 4 players makes the game a lot tighter, I think. So I've really enjoyed that. This is one of the games that I had the most fun with playing with my game group recently. So I'm definitely giving it a recommendation and a thumbs up. This is going to be one we're going to try to see if we can con Mom into playing with us, so we have at least a 3-player when we do finally do a playthrough on our channel. So fingers crossed. And if you want to see Mom play on there, please hammer our Facebook page and say, yeah, we want to see Mom play the game. So I can take that and I can say, see, honey, they do really want to see you. There's all the comments that they want. So like I said, highly recommend Manhattan. It's been a lot of fun.
So for me, I love Manhattan. I have not had a chance to bust it out with my local playing group yet. I've played it at home, and I've played it. I was actually playing it before I started playing with the people that I'm playing with now. And the funny thing is, and I should have talked about my initial impression last year at Gen Con. We had gone to the FoxMind booth, and he pulls out a copy of Manhattan, says we're going to be publishing the reprint, and I was like so excited. And Tim Norris was with me, and he's like, why are you getting all excited over this game? Like, he didn't really know. I'm like, this is like a big deal because again, I say this is a game that has 20 plus years of being out there. Was out of print for a little while, so I'm so excited to see that it is back, so the next generation of gamers can jump in and play it. But man, you talk about simple rules and a gameplay that's engaging. And like you said, even if a game takes an hour, it doesn't really seem like it, because you're watching everything that's going on because you're planning. So you're trying to plan the best that you can, because like you said, with 5 tribes, the board changes. I love the thoughtfulness that went into that whole. You're picking your buildings before you put them out. So it's like, once you commit to that, it's like, okay, you may punish yourself from deviating. So I think it's a really engaging game that shows just the depth of design capability from Andreas Seyfarth. I think he's got such an awesome pedigree. Anyways, I will agree with you. 4 players is the best way to play the game because it is super, super tight, really, really competitive over those city blocks. I can't remember if I played it with 3, and I won't play this. I have no interest in playing the game with 2 players. It just doesn't seem like you're only competing against one other mind, really, even though you're using 2 colors. And then it's like, okay, so now you have double the chance to gang up on other people. So I should reserve thoughts on 2-player because I haven't done it, but I really don't have interest in that. I think 3 and 4 player is the best way to play this game, 4 being the best. So I also recommend this game when it's available, and I believe it's going to be available later this year. You're going to definitely want to seek out a copy of Manhattan, add this to your collection. This is actually one that I believe is an essential for a library, especially even a family library. It'd be a great one to have on the shelf.
Oh, definitely. I would say this is a gateway game, but it's got legs. So as you know, you teach this to players and they get multiple plays of it, they're going to start developing new ways that they want to play. So yeah, I think this is going to be a shelf staple for a long time.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm sorry. I was just got a message from Tim Norris. He won't be back in. He just keeps getting bonked from the system. So his internet connection is really, really slow. So I think he needs to check and see what's going on there. But yeah, definitely one that's going to be sitting, it's going to be staying in my collection. I mean, right when I saw this thing, I had changed my channel banner on Facebook for To the Table is actually Manhattan. It was the old one. Now it's the new one. So it's been up there for a while. Great game. So anyways, that's Manhattan. But anyways, Tim, any final thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
No, just that, kind of keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're going to be trying to do a little bit more with the Facebook Live stuff. We've had several people that have been jumping on the videos when we've been doing them. They've been kind of a spur of the moment thing because we've sat down and we played a game, and then we decide, well, kind of right after we start, well, let's do a Facebook Live right afterwards. So we usually try to give people, like a 30-minute window when we're going to try to be on. So like I said, if you want to catch us that way, and you can interact, ask questions, comment on the game we're playing, go ahead and do that. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, we've got Dragon Island will be our next show, or not Dragon Island, Dragon Castle from Horrible Games. So looking forward to having that on.
Sweet. Yeah. All right. And I think with us too, I think I might have to do some experimentation with Facebook Live. I was almost thinking about producing short little Facebook only video clips. I'm not 100% sure. One of the things that I'm going to be looking at for possibly doing some live streaming is a new site, caffeine.tv. And so Tim Breslin, if you didn't know, our friend over from Asmodee, Elena Christensen, she was our marketing contact before. Now it's Megan Robinson, but Elena is leaving Asmodee next week, and she is actually moving to California to be part of the caffeine.tv team out there. So it's a startup. She's all excited about doing that. I was chatting with her last night on Facebook, just said hello, and we got to talking, and she was telling me about that. So that's a new streaming site and community that I'm looking to check that out. But like I said, a couple upcoming shows. I'm filming my formal review of Manhattan tomorrow. I'm actually going to be doing some little quick shot reviews over on the blog, and then look for some contributions. I know my friend Timothy Gay, one of our other contributors, is working on doing a strategy guide for all of the clans for Rising Sun. And he's been doing a few other things as well. And then I've got to get Chris King. I got to get him in gear, kick him in the butt, and get some content out from him. I know that everybody's off to we meddled our way through the holidays. Now here we are in February, and he needs to put something out before Valentine's Day. So anyways, lots of stuff that's going to be coming. So that'll be good. So without further ado, Tim, you want to say goodnight?
Yep. We'll catch you guys next time.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.